Aaron Cresswell to Wolves. That's what we'll be discussing today. And a little bit of Alex Scott, actually, who also looks like he might be going to Wolves. Bit of a worry, really, isn't it? I mean, I don't mean particularly Alex Scott going to Wolves or Aaron Cresswell going to Wolves. I'll give you my opinions on both of those in a minute. But I just mean the fact that we've not signed anyone yet. Everybody else, we're now officially there, by the way. Everybody else has signed somebody, every other Premier League club. And, well, we're sort of lagging well and truly behind. We're going to save the dessert talk for a video in a day or two. Thank you for everybody that joined in with the muffont talk. If you're wondering what a muffont is, it's a cross between a muffin and a croissant. Tried one for the first time yesterday. Very, very nice. They actually call it a cruffin. I'm going with the muffont. Actually spent quite a long time last night pondering different hybrid desserts that you could basically merge with a muffin. So that's a story for a different time, maybe. But for now, I'm a bit croissant about Aaron Cresswell going to Wolves. It's rumoured that they are in advanced talks. Aaron Cresswell and Wolverhampton Wanderers in advanced talks. I mean, this is a bit weird, isn't it? Because they took Craig Dawson last year. They also tried to sign Mikel Antonio, and now they want Aaron Cresswell. So they clearly have got their eyes on a few of the West Ham players. Nothing wrong with that, of course. I don't think this is a great idea at the moment. I like the way the story is spun. So the story is spun that West Ham are willing to let Aaron Cresswell go and would hope to reinvest the money. It's only $2.5 million, by the way, to bring in a younger replacement. I don't disagree with bringing in a younger replacement. If you're going to do that, you buy Kirkes, who's he's either going or already gone to Bournemouth. I think he might have gone. AZ Alkmaar player that played so well against us last season in the Conference League. You do that, and then you make room in the squad by moving Cresswell on. I don't think what you do is carry on selling players, even though we haven't bought any yet. Do I think Aaron Cresswell is going to be the first choice left back for all the season? No, but we're not in a position at all to try and move him on. Look, if David Moyes actually considered that Ollie Scholes, I know once I do this video that there'll be a number of people that say, what about Scholes? What about Scholes? If David Moyes had the intention of using Scholes, then he would be playing in the same way that Dan Potts on Obama's playing it. It'd be Scholes playing it. He's not. He's back, basically playing in the warm-up games for the youth teams, basically. So I'm not suggesting for a moment Scholes isn't a good player. I think he's really, really good. Look, we had Mark Phillips on the Patreon channel. We did an interview with him recently, and Mark Phillips said that Scholes had a wand of a left foot. So there's nothing wrong with him as a player. I think my point is that it's no good thinking we'll sell Cresswell and David Moyes will play Scholes at left back or left wing back. He won't. That's not going to happen. So why let him go? I just don't understand it. And before anyone says about the captaincy as well, David Moyes had the perfect opportunity a couple of days ago when he was asked about the captaincy. He was asked directly. And that would have been the time. If it was David Moyes' intention to use Aaron Cresswell as captain next season, that would have been the point to say it. He would have said absolutely. Then I don't have to worry about it. We've got a Cresswell. We've got a vice captain here. We're going to promote him to captain. He's been at the club a long time. Aaron Cresswell's my man, and that's the guy we're going to use. Done and dusted. Conversation over. He didn't. He took the opportunity to dodge it, and I said it at the time. Now listen, I don't mind him dodging it, but what it does suggest is he's got other plans. Whether that's someone else in the squad or bringing someone else in, I don't know. But it was quite clear it probably wasn't going to be Aaron Cresswell as our long-term captain. And rightly so, by the way. That would make absolute sense to me. Cresswell is not guaranteed to play, and I do think your captain has got to be guaranteed to play. That, above and beyond anything else, is a good reason not to do it. Now, I'll tell you what, I think Cresswell would make a fantastic club captain. I really do. You all saw, even though he wasn't selected for the final in Prague, you all saw how he reacted. A real club guy and a real team player in that sense. That's great. But actually, a captain's got to be on the pitch, and I'm not sure he will be all the time. So that's a little bit of a concern, I have to say. Had we have already brought loads of players in and we're moving Aaron Cresswell on, I think, fair enough. Thank you so much. I think he's been a magnificent servant. Not only do I like him, by the way, there's been a lot of times that he's been my kid's favourite player. We really like Aaron Cresswell in this house. But, to now sell him to Wolves for $2.5 million when we just can't seem to buy any players at the moment, I don't know. As a lot of people suggest, the problem is nobody wants to come to West Ham. I don't think that's the case. I absolutely don't think that's the case. I think, as I mentioned before, I think there's some players that West Ham don't suit. But there's no doubt. You listen to the noises coming out of Jalpalina. The noises coming out of Jalpalina. It's like you squeeze him. No, when you hear the sort of things that's coming out of Jalpalina's camp, he's the Jalpalinia team. He wants to come to West Ham. And why wouldn't he? I mean, he's tailor-made for David Moyes' way of playing, absolutely. That doesn't mean I want him, though. Let me just make that clear there. No, I don't think it's that. I think it's our inability to bring people in. I don't think it's the other way around. I think it's nobody wants to come. I just don't... We seem to be late to the game on everything, which brings us to Alex Scott. Now, Alex Scott is rumoured to be... Well, it's not even rumoured, okay? Alex Scott is wanted by Wolves. The reason it's not a rumour is they've already had 2 bids. If West Ham was seriously interested in Alex Scott, then we'd have made bids by now. So I don't think we are. I don't think we are. We've not made a single bid for him. It's not like we've made a bid and he's turned us down, or they've turned us down. That's what you do if you're a serious club. And by the way, West Ham do this. Even if West Ham get the brush off, they're still trying to get a player, and Jesse Lingard, anyone? We keep going back, we keep making offers. That's what we do. So it's not like we've had the brush off, and we just haven't been in at all for him. And I think that's not a great thing, actually, because I think he looks like a young, up-and-coming, promising player. And, Wolves seem to do good business, don't they? Wolves have got a lot of money, of course, because they sold Dubry Watset, didn't they, to Saudi Arabia there. So, they'll certainly be looking for reinforcements in midfield. I'm just disappointed that we've not gone in for this player, actually. I really am. But it does get more and more concerning that we've not brought anyone in yet. What was it? I think a week ago, about that, I read through the list of clubs who've basically done business. Most had. Some of it I wasn't that bothered about. It's a little loan here and there. Some have done good business. Some were clearly preparing for next season. Brighton, Brentford, who I mentioned. We know Bournemouth, certainly. All the Bees. All those clubs are certainly doing that. Aston Villa were straight out the blocks, weren't they? Signed Yuri Tillemans on a free. I think he's got a stinky attitude, to be fair. I think he's let Leicester down quite badly, actually, the way he played last season. But there's no doubt he is a top quality player. And the thing is, you read more reports today about Goretzka. I spoke about Goretzka yesterday, and I'm not going to labour the point on it. I think he's a magnificent player. And you can only really read the story so many times. I don't know whether it's Goretzka or anyone else. You read the words, West Ham are seriously interested. Surely interest has to be measured by actual actions and intent. And I'm getting a little bit... I was going to say I'm getting a little bit tired about it. I'm getting a little bit tired and I'm getting a little bit concerned. Because what is quite clear is that there is no urgency from West Ham to start the season, to basically hit the ground running. And, what is it, 3.5 weeks, something like that until the season starts. There seems to be urgency from us as fans. We seem to think we should have signings in place before the start of the season. Doesn't seem to be any from West Ham. It's almost like we don't learn from last season, like this narrative that was constantly trotted out. Well, players take a while to settle. You think, well, hold on, we'll get them in earlier then. This is one of my annoyances. I always say, you don't have to make anything up about David Moyes. There's plenty of stuff there. One of my annoyances with David Moyes is that he views everything as detached, like he's had nothing to do with it. So you get to that point. There was numerous points during the 18 months after Sebastian Haller, after he sanctioned the sale of Sebastian Haller and then didn't spend the money. He'd turn around and say, well, we've only got one striker. But, hold on, mate. That was you. Then you decided that. Don't view it as a third party. Oh, look at West Ham over there. They've only got one striker. No wonder they're having to juggle the squad. He would often say, I've only got a thin squad. What are you doing? It's his decision to do that. And, we had it a lot, he does it on loads and loads of things, but he had it last season on numerous occasions where he would say, it takes foreign players quite a while to settle into the Premier League. Well, you signed them, mate. You signed them. You decided to do this. And, of course, what we had was, we've got to get whatever, X, Y, and Z up and running and up to match speed because they didn't have a full pre-season. What? You decide that. You bring the people in. It's your fault that they don't have a full pre-season. Again, don't view it detached from the outside. You make the decisions. And I'm not sure. I mean, obviously I'm frustrated about it, you can tell. But I'm not sure that the club share that frustration. I think that's fine. I think they don't mind players playing catch-up. I think they don't mind that maybe when they go to the training ground that someone that signed in August, for instance, will be 2 or 3 weeks behind all the others. Then maybe they're doing a little mini pre-season while everyone else is training and doing the tactics for the next match or whatever. I find it a bizarre thing to do. Funny enough, it was one of the reasons that I was always confident that the Declan Rice deal would go through. Was actually not because of anything we said or anything. It was actually what Arteta said, which basically wants his players in early so he can get them involved to play as much of the pre-season campaign as is possible. So, sometimes the most obvious thing is just the truth. And, that's why I didn't think it would drag on for so long that it would be prohibitive to us. But let's be fair, there's no reason for us not to start signing players now. If we're interested in Conor Gallagher, go and sign him. Or at least make a bid. I do wonder if this is what we're doing. We're putting so many feelers out and just not making bids. If you want Alex Scott, go and make a bid. Harvey Barnes. But anyway, the club have said that. There's no point talking about Harvey Barnes. The club have said that they don't want Harvey Barnes. Okay, fine, again. I'll take them at their word. But let's not pretend that the club want nobody. Clearly they want players. We'll go and bid for them then. Whoever it is, whether it's Goretzka now, I have to say, obviously, that I know there'll be someone who'll type, well, actually, we did bid for Polina. Do you know what? We did. We have made a bid for a player that we wanted. But if I'm to understand it, that was an exploratory bid. That was to find out how much we could get him for. So as I understand it, it wasn't just 45 million. I think it was about 30 million and the 15 were add-ons, right? Spread over. Actually, the liability of the deal wasn't huge, actually. But it was for us to explore it. And when Fulham came back and said, well, actually, no, we value him more at 80. If you, okay, West Ham, you got your chance. Fine. If that was an exploratory bid, I can't sit here and criticise them for not bidding and then criticise them when they do a bid. But fine. Okay, that's your exploratory bid. You wanted to find out how much Fulham valued him at. Now you know. We know that's too expensive for you. Move on to the next one. Why? It seems like, okay, Polina bid fails. Why are we waiting? Why wasn't the moment the Polina bid failed? Let's say our next target was Alvarez at Ajax. There's no reason for the bid for Ajax. The bid to Ajax can't go in an hour later. There's no reason at all. I just don't understand. We seem to have this self-imposed set of restrictions, and we do it on everything, whether it's hiring a manager or anything else. These self-imposed set of restrictions. Like, oh, okay, well, we've got to wait now for a period of time before we can bid for somebody again. No, you don't. Get your arse into gear, get it moving, and get it sorted out. Quite frankly, I'm getting a bit worried about the moustache. If this carries on, it won't just be a moustache, but I'll look like Father Christmas. I'll be here in bloody 20 years' time. Ho, ho, ho. Obviously not that. It would just be an imitation Father Christmas. Obviously not the real Father Christmas, clearly. But, in case you don't know, I'm sure most of you do, this thing's got to stay on until we sign a player for 25 million. I think we will, but my word, we're taking our time.